Hi, everybody. Good morning. Happy Friday to you. This is Cindy from Ask Nurse Cindy, registered nurse times 40 years, lost 75 pounds, family down over 900 pounds. For just a few minutes, it's Friday. I've got to go into work. I just wanted to talk to you about trusting the process, but tweaking as needed. So the trust and tweak. What do I mean by that? Well, when we start the ketogenic way of eating, we have probably heard from a lot of people that you can eat everything you want and you can lose like 50 pounds in a month. And we see people that post some crazy stuff that they've lost. And maybe they have. But for most of us, especially as we're older, especially I'm 61. Good morning, everybody, as you're hopping on. As we are older, what's interesting to note is that our bodies will not respond typically like that of a 20 or a 30-year-old or even a 40-year-old. So as we become perimenopausal, if you're a woman, as we start to hit that middle age spread, if you're a man, what happens is our metabolism tends to slow down. We tend to lose some muscle mass, and our muscle mass is part of our metabolic furnace that sets the pace of our ability to burn calories at rest. So one of the things I really want to encourage you this morning is to trust the process. It takes patience, it takes practice, it takes preparing. That's a lot of P's. When I get to the P letter on my ABCs of keto, we're gonna have to remember that. And I just wanted to encourage you, don't give up. Now, that doesn't mean just keep going. They say that the very definition of insanity is to keep doing the exact same thing and expect a different outcome. So if you are just trusting the scales, and I've done a lot of videos on this, that the scales are evil. They're evil. And we cannot base our success or lack of success on just that metric. One of the things that my water balloon video, if you haven't seen that one was done 2 years ago. I was wearing like a size 16 woman. I'm now in a 10 or a 12. I bought my first size 8 petite jacket. If I had given up when I was hitting these 2 or 3 month stalls, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't still be talking to you and encouraging you to be patient, to trust the process. But that doesn't mean you can't tweak things. It may be that you don't particularly do well with dairy and others can eat dairy. It may be that you're having too many nuts and you need to, because it's so easy to pop those macadamia nuts or almonds in your mouth and really not understand the volume you're eating. Another thing that when I was at my sister Debbie's house, I picked up a book that she had on different ways to manage food cravings. And one of the things it talks about is actual hunger, where my stomach is like feeling like it's caving into the back of my spine, which I had never really felt. I don't know if I'd ever felt that for 59 years until I started keto. But the ability to actually feel hunger. Hunger's not a death sentence. Hunger, for most Americans, it's not something that we experience often, but it's a good thing, because when we allow our body to be depleted of calories and we eat only when physically hungry, there's a lot of great things that happen. Autophagy, which we'll do a thing on, that's where your body sort of self-cleans itself. It's like rinses out all the old dead cells and sort of cleans up, sweeps the floor, if you will. And that happens many times as we go for periods of time without eating. Maybe you eat at 7 o'clock at night, you don't eat till 10:30 or 11 the next day when you actually are physically hungry. That allows your body to practice this cleanup. It's like when you let your computer run its program at night where it cleans up malware and stuff. So we want to be patient with the process. We want to realize this isn't a quick weight loss, other than potentially at the initial couple of weeks or month. And for some of us, it is very slow and plodding, and maybe you go a month and you haven't really lost weight on the scales. But I can tell you that if you've dropped your processed carbohydrates, if you've avoided a lot of the preservatives and chemicals that are in all those cellophane-wrapped food-like substances, that your body is going through its own reparative process. It's looking at its programming. It's looking at how it responds to food. It's readjusting what hormones is needed, what enzymes are needed digestively to handle these different foods. You may feel bloated. If you're consuming a ton of calories and you're self-soothing with food, that's something that oral gratification is something to be really analyzed within your own process of how you deal with stress, how you deal with happiness. So we want to be sure that we trust the process, but we want to be willing to tweak it and maybe do a little bit of critical examination of what are you doing. Are you sitting like a slug and eating all sorts of bacon? And I'm, trust me, preaching to myself. I've been at 75 pounds now since the cruise, and I've still got another 20 to go. So what does Cindy need to do to tweak? What do I need to do to be sure that, especially in this time of grieving for my mom's passing, that I don't self-soothe with food, even if it's keto food, even if it's keto friendly? While we don't really count calories, calories at the end of the day count. I can't consume 3,000 and 4,000 calories a day and expect my body to look at all that excess of energy and be able to still lose weight, because my body can only do what I tell it to do. And what do I mean by that? When I eat food, I'm telling my body to give me a response. If I eat a lot of carbohydrates, I'm telling my body to put out insulin so I can get that excess glucose out of my bloodstream and it has to do something with it. And kids, when they eat sugar, they get all hyper because they're going to burn it off. They're not typically in a fat storage mode, but as we age, as our metabolism slows down, we tend to get into a slower level, and so we're less active. Oh my gosh, if I could have the energy. I was at my granddaughter Rayma Ray's birthday party yesterday out in New Braunfels, or I watched Joshua, who's 5 and getting ready to start kindergarten. They are nonstop movement. So they're burning off a lot of calories, whether they're keto or not. But as we age and we get employed, unless we're a waitress or a nurse and we're, moving all the time, we've got to be patient with the process. Trust the process. Let your body repair, but don't be afraid to tweak things. And there's so many videos online, and I've done a couple on them on what do I do if I stall. You can do things as simple as those papa squats we were talking about, the wall push-ups, doing toe raises when you're standing in line at the bank or the grocery store. So many things that you can do. Yeah, watch your heavy whipping cream. That's one thing. If you drink a lot of coffee during the day, I've gotten to the point I pull out a tablespoon and I actually put a tablespoon of heavy whipping cream. I measure it out, put that in my coffee and stir it. And I'm not a big coffee drinker, 1 or 2 cups a day, but it's very easy if you just pour it in to underestimate how much is actually going in your cup. And it's something I can tweak. I can tweak my activity level. So that's just some advice well, not advice. You guys probably already know this intrinsically. Measure yourself, have a pair of a shirt that's a button-up cotton shirt or woven shirt that is tight on you. Put it on every week. Choose like Saturday. I'm going to be a sizing Saturday. I'm going to try on those clothes. And you'll be surprised. I had a shirt that I put on that I'd taken to my sister Debbie's. I was just throwing things in the suitcase when I heard Mom was so ill. And I hadn't worn it in a couple of months, and I knew it fit. And even though the scales haven't moved since the cruise, I put it on and I thought I could grab a handful on the side. So it's not about the scales. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't talk yourself out of this lifestyle. You know you're the most powerful person in your life. You decide what goes in your mouth or doesn't go in your mouth. And there can be stressors and triggers, and you're going to make that decision. But please don't talk yourself out of it. I guess it's not working, or, I'm not losing as fast as so-and-so, so I guess I better. Because I'm telling you, the carbs are calling you. They're calling me. And they'll say to you, oh, come back. That keto is crap. It's not working. Just go back to what you were doing. If you're not losing weight on that, you might as well have, eat me. Don't answer that lure. Don't answer that siren's call, that mermaid call of come in, because it's a slippery slope, and it can be very, very challenging. From the people I've talked to that have had they've gone off the wagon, or they said, well, it's my birthday, I'm just going to have blah, blah, blah. And then I'll go right back on it. And they've been really challenged to get back on, and sometimes it's months and months, and they've regained half their weight. And I feel for you, and I heart for you, but I'm telling you that it's not too late. As long as you have breath, you can be healthier. Trust the process, tweak as needed. I've got to go into work. I'm privileged to go into work, actually. I have a fantastic job where I feel like I can make a difference in patients' lives, and I hope you find value in your day, because you are worth it. Tweak, but trust. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.